Good morning, children. This is Mrs. Sadi Joseph, your physics teacher. Welcome back to the online teaching for the session 2020-21. Let us continue with the same chapter, that is chapter 13, magnetic effect of electric current. In the previous module, we had seen that when current is passed through a straight wire, a magnetic field is produced around it. Also, we learned what is right hand thumb rule. Today, I'll explain the magnetic field due to current through a circular loop. It has been found that the magnetic effect of current increases if instead of using a straight wire, the wire is converted into a circular loop. When a current is passed through the circular loop of the wire, the magnetic field is produced around it. The pattern of magnetic field due to a current carrying circular loop is as shown in the figure. You can see they are circular in nature. The magnetic field lines are circular near the current carrying loop. As we move away, the concentric circles representing magnetic field lines become bigger and bigger. At the center of the circular loop, the magnetic field lines are straight. The magnitude of magnetic field produced by a current carrying circular loop at its center depends upon two factors. That is, it is directly proportional to the current passing through the circular loop, which means if more current passes through the circular loop, then the intensity of magnetic field will be more. If less current passes, then intensity will be less. And the second factor is, it is inversely proportional to the radius of circular loop. That is, if the radius of the circular loop increases, then the intensity of magnetic field will be less. And if the radius become less, then the magnetic field will be more. Means magnitude of magnetic field will be more. And the third case is the magnetic field due to current in a solenoid. Do you know what is a solenoid? I'll explain. The solenoid is a long coil containing a large number of closed turns of insulated copper wire. That is, if you want a long coil of copper wire over any material like soft iron, it is called a solenoid. When an electric current is passed through the solenoid, it produces a magnetic field around it, as shown in the figure. The magnetic field produced by a current carrying solenoid is similar to the magnetic field produced by a bar magnet. The previous classes I explained the magnetic field lines produced by the bar magnet. In that we have seen that in the case of a bar magnet, the magnetic field line starts from the north pole and ends at the south pole. Here also the same. That is, the field line starts from the north pole and ends at the south pole. Here, one end of the solenoid acts like a north pole and the other end a south pole. How you can identify the north pole and a south pole? If you bring the north pole of a bar magnet near to one end of the solenoid, if it attracts, then that end of the solenoid will be a south pole. And if repulsion is there, that means that end will be a north pole. You can see that the magnetic field lines inside the solenoid are in the form of parallel lines. They are straight lines. That means the strength of magnetic field is the same at all the points inside the solenoid. I'll repeat the same. Inside the solenoid, the magnetic field lines are straight lines. That means the strength of magnetic field is same at all the points inside the solenoid. But outside that, the field line starts from the north pole and ends at the south pole. And the magnitude of magnetic field near to the poles will be greater than other places. The strength of magnetic field produced by a current carrying solenoid depends upon the following factors. First one, the number of turns in the solenoid. Larger the number of turns in the solenoid, greater will be the magnetism produced. Which means if you increase the number of turns in the solenoid, you can increase the intensity of the magnetic field. Second point, the strength of current in the solenoid. Which means larger the current passed through the solenoid, stronger will be the magnetic field produced. You can change the intensity of magnetic field by increasing or decreasing the current flowing through the circuit. Third one, the nature of core materials used in making the solenoid. I told you solenoid means a copper wire wound over any material. So if you use a soft iron as the core in solenoid, it produces the strongest magnetism. The strength of the magnetic field depends upon the nature of the core material. Our next topic is force on current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. I have already explained Oersted's experiment, which shows that a current carrying wire exerts a force on a compass needle and deflects it from its usual north-south position. If you place a compass needle in a magnetic field, it shows deflection. Since a compass needle is actually a small freely pivoted magnet, we can also say that current carrying wire exerts a mechanical force on the magnet. And if the magnet is free to move, this force can produce a motion in the magnet. Why the compass needle shows deflection? Because the current carrying wire exerts a mechanical force on the magnet. Because of that, it produces a motion in the magnet. The reverse of this is also true. That is, a magnet exerts a mechanical force on a current carrying wire, and if the wire is free to move, this force can produce a motion in the wire. I repeat, a magnet exerts a mechanical force on a current carrying wire, and if the wire is free to move, this force can produce a motion in the wire. And this was discovered by Michael Faraday in 1821. He found that when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, a mechanical force is exerted on the conductor which can make the conductor move. This is known as the motor principle and forms the basis of a large number of electrical devices like electric motor and moving coil galvanometer. So what is the principle of electric motor and moving coil galvanometer? When a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, a mechanical force is exerted on the conductor which can make the conductor move. So this is known as the motor principle. This is the principle of electric motor and electric and moving coil galvanometer. We will now describe an experiment to demonstrate the force exerted by a magnet on a current carrying wire. We'll do one activity. Take a small aluminum rod using two connecting wires, suspend it horizontally from a stand. You just see the figure number 12 in your NCERT textbook, page number 230. Place a strong horseshoe magnet in such a way that the rod lies between the two poles with the magnetic field directed upwards. Horseshoe magnet means it's a U-shaped magnet. The beginning of the chapter I already explained there are different type of magnets like a bar magnet, horseshoe magnet, etc. Here see horseshoe magnet means it is a U-shaped magnet. One end of the magnet is having the north pole and the other end shows the south pole. Connect the aluminum rod in series with a battery, a key and a rheostat. Now pass a current through the aluminum rod from one end to the other end. What do you observe? You can see that the rod is displaced towards the left. If you connect the end B to end A, then you can see that the rod displaced towards the left. Now we reverse the direction of current flowing through the rod. That means A to B. And observe the direction of its displacement. You can see that now the deflection is towards the right. Why does it happen? Why the rod gets displaced? Can you explain? Okay. It is because the conductor experiences a mechanical force which makes it displaced. So, from this activity, we can conclude that when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, a mechanical force is exerted on the conductor which makes it to move. If you place a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, it experiences a mechanical force which makes it to move. The direction of force acting on the current carrying rod depends upon the direction of current and the direction of magnetic field. If the direction of current in a conductor and the direction of magnetic field are known, then the direction of force acting on the current carrying conductor can be found out by using Fleming's left hand rule. What is Fleming's left hand rule? According to Fleming's left hand rule, hold the forefinger, the center finger and the thumb of your left hand at right angles to one another as shown in the figure. Adjust your hand in such a way that the forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field and the center finger in the direction of current. Then the direction in which thumb points gives the direction of force acting on the conductor. Once again, hold the forefinger, the center finger, and the thumb of your left hand at right angles to one another. Right angles means 90 degrees to each other. Adjust your hand in such a way that the forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field and the center finger points in the direction of current. Then the direction in which the thumb points gives the direction of force acting on the conductor. Since the conductor moves along the direction in which the force acts in it, we can also say that the direction in which the thumb points gives the direction of motion of the conductor. The conductor moves along the direction in which the force acts. Thus, we can state Fleming's left hand rule in another way as hold the forefinger, the center finger, and the thumb of your left hand at right angles to one another. Adjust your hand in such a way that the forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field and the center finger points in the direction of current in the conductor. Then the direction in which the thumb points gives the direction of motion of the conductor. Today we have learned the magnetic field lines produced by a circular loop, magnetic field lines produced by a solenoid, principle of electric motor and moving coil galvanometer, and what is Fleming's left hand rule. All of you read the portion nicely. This is the end of today's module. Thank you. Bye bye and take care. Stay home, stay healthy.